Are you looking for a new pair of water shoes this year to wear while you're out kayaking? I think I found a great inexpensive solution. Stay tuned. The folks at Clorts sent me a pair of their water shoes to evaluate. They have a nice rubberized bottom, and there's holes in here that will drain the water from inside the shoe, in addition to all the drain holes on the side. I like the fact that it's got this leathery material that's pretty thick and strong around the sides. The shoes attach using this draw cord, and this is really firm. In fact, I thought that that might be a negative, but then I figured out I just needed to put a little more elbow grease into it to get it to either close down or open up. Now I've got a size 9.5 foot, and these fit just fine on my 9.5 foot, so I think the sizing is pretty good. Now let's give it some tests out here in the wild. The first test is the mud test. Here's the first test of these new water shoes. It's the mud test. This is a really muddy bottom here, and as I pull my kayak out and get it launched, I want to see if they can rinse off easily and have the mud come out without me having to take the shoes off. So let's pull this sucker out there. It's a haul, and see what happens. Not bad. The shoes stayed on, and they rinsed out pretty well when I shook my foot in the shallow water. So, pulling them up out of the mud here, a little bit of a rinse, good to go. These are very comfortable to pedal in. They snug up next to my foot real well. Just got to remember to put suntan lotion on the entire foot, because the sun's going to come in through the gaps that'll let the water out. Pedaled out here about 3/4 of a mile to my first spot, and these shoes are working great. You can see that the mud has all washed out of there, and it's got these drain holes on the side as well as on the bottom. So the last thing to look at is, how does the shoe deal with sand? Well, with all of these holes, sand's going to get in there, and as you can see, it's going to stay in there. So if walking on the beach or in a sandy spot is something that you're concerned about, then you need to get shoes that are totally sealed. But once they're sealed, they're not going to shed water as well. So there's a trade-off there that you're just going to have to figure out for yourself. Now, typically when I'm out kayaking, I don't end up being in sand all that much, and I know on a lake or a river you're not going to encounter the same kind of sandy beaches we have here in North Carolina. I guess my recommendation is, these things are great for freshwater, and you need to decide where you fish, if you're going to use them inshore where there's a lot of sand and oyster beds. But you know, the construction on these is really good for what you pay, and I'm totally impressed with all these vents and drain holes down here at the bottom that's going to let the water come out of the inside. One other thing to point out is these insoles have all these little holes in there to push the water through there and then out the bottom. Very well designed. This is a good design. I like these. So make your own call based on what I've said. Throw some comments down below if you've got something to add. Thanks.